Alright, yo people, welcome back to another video. Basically, prediction time. It's probably one of the hardest videos you can make. And this year is even harder. And I've actually got my first collaboration on this channel with my mate Jay. He's an Arsenal fan. And it's going to be interesting because it's always good to get another perspective on predictions. But yeah, we'll just get straight into it, man. Jay, who did you predict to come 20th?
I think we both agree on this. I've gone for Bournemouth.
Yep,
Bournemouth. Not done enough in the transfer window to convince me that they'll not get relegated. So yeah, I've gone for them.
Yeah, for me, like, it's literally like from top to bottom. Ever since they sacked Eddie Howe from like a couple of years ago,
yeah,
they got the assistant, who's the assistant of Newcastle now, Jason Tindall, was in the Championship. They failed to get promoted with Jonathan Woodgate. That's a name from the past. And
yeah,
now they have Scott Parker, and I'm not convinced with him. Like, he tries to play good football, I get it, but when you sign people like Ryan Fredericks, and I know Ryan Fredericks.
Yeah, former player, of course.
Yeah, very well. Like, as a player, he's not that good, I'll be honest. Like, he's probably one of the most out of position right backs you could have. Like, because he's just very fast, and he's just not. He doesn't like recover properly. His positioning's horrible. Right, and if you're going back to the Premier League, you need to put more effort into your transfer window.
I would say yes. Despite the fact that they finished second in the Championship, I do think Bournemouth needed to do more up to this point. Who knows? They're still, just a disclaimer, this is being recorded 2 days before the start of the season.
Yeah.
So the transfer window is still open at this point.
Yeah.
So who knows? Bournemouth can make 4 or 5 signings that may make them not get relegated, who knows. But at this point in time, I do think Bournemouth look the worst team squad wise and just quality wise.
Yeah, definitely. Like 19th, I predicted Fulham.
Yep, same. Fulham.
Yeah.
Despite an amazing season by Fulham, you know, Mitrovic I think was over 40 plus goals last season.
Yeah.
Marco Silva, who's a good manager, is he good enough for the Premier League? I mean, at Everton I thought he was okay. At Hull City I think he was okay. Hasn't pulled up like anything surprising, like massive yet, so yeah. I can't see, you know, them going any further either. Yeah,
for me it was like when Marco Silva, I think he's tried it in the Premier League a couple of times. I think Hull City was a bit of like anyone at Hull City would have got relegated at the time, and I feel like with Everton, like we've seen even recently, like their situation's messy.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't think any manager can really pull them out of the mud. I feel like again he's another manager that tries to play good football. And he's trying to sign, again, there's another club that are trying to sign West Ham players. They're trying to sign Issa Diop right now.
Yeah.
Issa Diop would not be enough as a centre-back to keep them up. They've got the other guy, Tosin Adebayo. He's really good, he's strong.
Yeah.
But they've also lost Fabio Carvalho and replaced him with Andreas Pereira.
Which isn't the best thing you want to do, but I guess you take what you can get at this point if you're Fulham. Yeah. I know obviously as well, today they've just signed Bernd Leno from Arsenal, so is that enough to save them? I don't know, but I can't see it as of right now, so yeah, Fulham down for me. Yeah,
I feel like even with the Bernd Leno thing as well, like you've seen him at Arsenal, if they're trying to play out from the back, he's not the best.
He's not the best, no. I think Aaron Ramsdale did very well last season. Bernd Leno for me, a better shot stopper at the time than Ramsdale for me, but it was the right time for him to go. I think he was unlucky to not go to Leicester, which we'll get onto later, but I think Fulham, maybe not the best move for him, but we'll see. Who knows, it could work out, who knows.
Yeah, there's a weird deal now with instalments, like it has to stay up and then another 2 million, and then the season after there's another 2 million if they stay up again. Yeah. It's not going to work.
I mean, I think the overall offer was, I think, 8 million, but most of that was like 3 million plus add-ons, so we got money from at least.
It was a good deal for Fulham, but they even had our keeper Alphonso Areola last time, and he was amazing for them, but he's still not enough.
It's still not enough.
You need a good defence, but 18th, who did you put?
Really hurt me to put this. I did put Southampton.
Really?
Yeah. James Ward-Prowse, brilliant last season. You know, I've rated Southampton, Ralph Hasenhüttl, what he's done so far, but this may be the year. I think losing Breyer, you lose a lot of goals with that, and haven't done enough signings for me that can convince me they can get away with it. I think maybe they'll get exposed this year. I could be completely wrong. But this last relegation block was really hard to put, but I had to put Southampton based on the fact that they've lost their main guy, who you'd say halfway through the season did well. Obviously he dropped off towards the end of the season, but you know, I think this could be the year, unfortunately, for Southampton.
You know what it is with Southampton? They've done like players that they've gone underground with it, because it's like they signed Joe Aribo, amazing player. Like generally on the Europa League campaign with Rangers, it was amazing. Like, and they've signed Bazunu, who's a City youngster, played for their rivals Portsmouth.
Yeah.
Very good keeper, can play out from the back and stuff. But I don't know whether he will be the right replacement for Fraser Forster just yet, because they've also lost him on a free, and they've gone for young signings, and Livramento's out for the rest of the year.
Yeah, massive loss.
For me, they're looking for other right backs, but they need another left back, because if Perot gets injured, Kyle Walker-Peters might be leaving to Chelsea.
I think Kyle Walker-Peters, I don't know if that's the best move for his career right now, but I really rate Kyle Walker-Peters. He doesn't deserve to go down, but yeah, not enough defensive reinforcements. Their squad's not as big as I think it was last season.
Yeah, they
so I think that will cost them as well.
Yeah, the problem with Southampton is they either like they go on a great run. You think, oh, they can get Europe, and then they go a really bad run. Oh, they can get relegated.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think Southampton are a bit lost, but I didn't predict them to get relegated. 18th for me. I said Everton.
Yeah, I've heard a few people say that. I would be more shocked. Everton, yeah. I'm not. I mean, I wouldn't agree, but go on, Everton.
For me, okay, with Frank Lampard, again, another manager that tried to play it for the back. As soon as he came in, then he went direct, and then he relied on...
Changed his formation a lot.
Yeah, like, I think they want to go back to three at the back from what I've seen. They want to go back to three at the back, but they've also signed just every Burnley reject you can have. Tarkowski and
from
McNeil.
Keane to Tarkowski.
Yeah.
I mean, Tarkowski and McNeil were good players. I would say they were good signings. I mean, a lot of people have said Frank Lampard's going to get sacked first. I mean, I don't know what you think Frank Lampard will be the first one to get sacked? I
think out of all the managers that are there, I feel like that it seems the most logical one, because, for example, with Fulham and Bournemouth, I don't think Fulham, even though I don't rate Scott Parker or Marco Silva that much, if you get relegated with these guys, you have to help them you need them to get back promoted straight away. So I think Frank Lampard, I feel like he's only got jobs on merit. I feel like because on the Chelsea one, he didn't really earn himself because he didn't get promoted with Derby. And I feel like you need to earn your place first in management. I think he's got it off name.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like he's as good as like recent former players that are managers in the Premier League, as Steven Gerrard and Patrick Vieira. I feel like they've done really well because they've actually earned their place. They've gone to other teams and then gone to the Premier League and done very well. So the Lampard's not good enough for me, and the replacement with Richarlison with potentially Maxwell Cornet, from what I've seen, which he's a good player, but you didn't really prove that he can drag a team out of relegation.
True. I mean, towards the end of the season, I do think... I mean, I slightly disagree. I think Richarlison did do well to get them out of relegation, but I said I don't think Everton's overall team... I mean, me and you were discussing earlier before recording. Everton's midfield, for me, doesn't look like a relegation-threatened midfield. I don't think the defence isn't the greatest, but I think a good solid year for gelling, I think, will be good for them. But it would be a massiove shock if Everton were to go down after, I think, one of the more well-known, established Premier League teams. But you know, I'll back it. If you want to go for a shot, go for it.
I feel like people need to look out for them because they can't keep getting away with it. But I do feel like it'll be a relegation battle.
Like it'll be a massive one.
In 17th, I put Nottingham Forest.
Yep, same. I could have put them a little bit higher, but I've got to be realistic with the team that they have. I mean, obviously knocked us out of the FA Cup last season, which was disappointing. But Nottingham Forest made a lot of signings, and I think we remember back to a couple of years ago when Fulham did the same thing and it didn't pan out as well. You could question this could happen the same thing now, and they could go down as well. You know, the likes of Jesse Lingard, which was one of the surprises of the transfer window. So I know that was that was bad for you because obviously you didn't go to West Ham, but yeah, I think Steve Cooper been highly rated from what I've heard. So maybe just about enough, but it'll be very, very close. You know what?
You know what? I feel like with the Nottingham Forest is very different from the Fulham situation, because I feel like not only is their manager better than what Fulham had at the time, I feel like because Steve Cooper managed the under-17s World Cup team that won the World Cup with Foden, Hudson-Odoi, Brewster, etc. He managed that team, and then he went Swansea, nearly got them promoted. And I watched like the back end of like the Championship season like every year, and to see like who's going to come up and who to watch out for. They had Man United youngster James Garner in midfield, who spent 2 loan seasons at the club. They've replaced him with a guy called Lewis O'Brien at Huddersfield. He's bred to be highly rated. They've got backup at left wing back with Omar Richards and Toffolo from Huddersfield, and Nico Williams. That's a great signing. Like, he's very good. Because they lost Jed Spence because he was only on loan from Middlesbrough.
Massive loss.
And they wanted to sign Keenan Davis from Aston Villa, but they got Awoyeni instead, this Nigerian striker who was meant to be good in the Bundesliga from Hertha Berlin, and he didn't get a chance to play for Liverpool, but he used to play for them. Jesse Lingard, like, as much as I can be salty, he's a great signing for them.
It's a great signing. Like, maybe the one that keeps them up. Who knows?
I reckon he will, but he will bang for them. And I wanted him back at West Ham. There was a lot of divide, he's there for the money, but players are always going to be there for the money. It's their job. My thing is it was just the way the saga ended, because I was waiting for a whole year for him to come back.
Yeah.
And he didn't come back, but it is what it is.
I mean, people say we go for the money. I mean, for me, there was a question of, was he going to be the main guy there at West Ham? I don't know if he would have been the main guy.
I think Moyes really rates him. I think it would have been Fornals, Lingard, Bowen, Antonio, or Scamacca now. But and Lingard would have started straight away, because even when Lingard didn't play any football and he came straight to us on loan, played straight away, and he didn't. And I don't think he got benched once. So we actually ran him into the ground quite a bit, to be fair, because he was actually very tired towards the end, but he still contributed. And I'm gutted, but I get it, because if Forest got relegated, for example, he could go to either a bigger club, or he could go MLS, or he could go Saudi Arabia. Like, he can do what he wants.
He's 30 years old now, and I think for the game time as well, just in preparation for the World Cup, he needs this. He needs this for me. Yeah. 16th, who did you put? I've gone Leeds.
I've gone the same.
Leeds, yeah. I like Lee Marsh, Jesse Marsh, sorry. Did well towards the end of the season to get them away from relegation.
Yeah.
Have lost a lot of goals, obviously, with Rafinha going. Is Brentford going to be the same when he comes back? Made a couple of decent signings. Obviously, not known to most people, because obviously it's from mostly Americans. But for me, Leeds lost a lot of goals. The squad is looking a little bit thin going into the season, so I think that may cost them. But I think, again, they'll just survive. But I think they need to build on their squad a lot more going into the season. Yeah,
to be honest with you, from like 18th to 13th, it could go anywhere for me, because like I wouldn't be surprised if Leeds got relegated, but at the same time, I feel like Jesse Marsh has no excuses, because he did well to keep them up, and he's been back now, because he's got this guy called Sinstiera from Feyenoord. He got Mark Rocker from Bayern Munich to replace Calvin Phillips. He also got Tyler Adams. You got this guy called Christensen, who's a right back. I got Aronson, who's, I've seen one of his assists. He looks alright. I haven't seen him play much, but these.
Yeah, neither have I.
But there's a lot of Red Bull connections, because obviously he was at Leipzig and Salzburg. Jesse Marsh. My thing is like, how are you going to cope with? This is their first season without Marcelo Bielsa in a while.
True.
And this is the first full season. I wouldn't be surprised if they went down, but I feel like they've done enough to stay up. But they need Bamford to stay fit, and they need to play Joe Gelhardt more.
Yeah.
The young striker is brilliant, in my opinion.
Got a few goals for them last season. Maybe, hopefully, Jesse Marsh uses him next season. But obviously, with Bamford being the main striker, his game time might be limited.
Yeah.
But yeah, Leeds 16th for me. 15th, I've gone Brentford.
I've gone the same.
Yeah. I put Brentford higher, but again, loss of Eriksen, massive for them, and because I can't guarantee what they'll be like without Eriksen, I have to put them a bit lower down, because obviously he was great for creating chances for the likes of Tony and Mbeumo, who I highly rated last season. So, need to see how they can cope without Eriksen. Yeah,
do you know what I like about Brentford is that I feel like everyone's going to do the second season syndrome thing.
Yeah, I was thinking that at the start to put them relegated, but I think they've got enough quality in the side to stay up. But yeah,
they're too versatile to go down, because they play five at the back and they sit back and they do whatever. Sometimes they press, or sometimes they play 4-3-3 and they be expansive. They're in talks with Mikkel Damsgaard, who impressed at the Euros. for Denmark last time. They've got a lot of
Yeah.
Danish connections. They signed Keane Lewis Potter. He was highly rated in the Championship. Another player that West Ham were linked with that I really wanted. Boys went to go and scout this guy at Hull versus Millwall, and he still didn't go and get him. But they've signed, who else did they sign? They signed Ben Mee. He's Premier League experience.
Ben Mee, yeah. Useful.
I don't remember who. They've definitely signed other players as well, but from what they signed Strakowska, is some keeper that is meant to be highly rated. I don't know too much about him, but they've got strength and depth right now, in my opinion, and I feel like the only part missing is maybe they need one more midfielder and maybe one more attacker to give them something different.
Yeah, maybe one more midfielder, I'd say, as well.
Yeah. 14th, I've gone Southampton.
Yeah, Everton. I mean, do you want to go Southampton?
Yeah, so we basically swapped Southampton and Everton
pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, because again with Southampton, as I said earlier, they've signed like smart young players, but the thing is they are actually more versatile than people think. But it's just you never know what will happen with them. It will either go as a car crash or they will be the shock of the season. Mm-hmm. That is how Southampton are, and maybe have always been, because they used to have players that Liverpool always used to steal from them. But now they're just got a team that sometimes they play good football, sometimes they have to sit back. I feel like their manager's really good, but he's not consistent enough to like take a team to a next level if Southampton want to be that mid-table team that goes to European places.
100%. I don't think Southampton are at that point of the season yet, which is why I predict them to get relegated. This is also Ralph Hasenhüttl's last season, I believe, in the Premier League, because I believe he's leaving after his contract's finishing out. Someone in the comments may correct me on that, but I went Everton. You know, I get your point obviously about the fact that they could get relegated. I do believe that this Everton team isn't an 18th place relegated side. I do agree though that Frank Lampard may be one of the first people to get sacked.
Yeah.
Like you say, you don't win some certain places like he did at Chelsea on merit, and you know, look at the difference that Tuchel's made with Chelsea since he got sacked. I mean, they've won a Champions League since then, so it just shows the difference. But I do think Everton's side has just about enough quality to get through it. You know, they've signed they've made a couple signings which I think Everton fans will be somewhat satisfied, but I think they'll be expecting more, and but I think they're going to just have to survive at the minute before they push on to a potential top 10.
I think the problem as well is that they had to sell to buy because of financial fair play and how badly they spent in the past. They had to sell Richarlison to get these players. Anyway, so even if Richarlison didn't want to go, he probably would have been sold anyway. Because Dominic Calvert-Lewin's going nowhere anyway. Apparently he's injured again. They have no backup for him.
They've got Rondon, which won't be enough goals.
Oh, I forgot about Rondon.
Rondon, he is still there, you got the likes of Dele Alli, there was rumours about him leaving after 6 months. Obviously, you've got Damari Gray and Anthony Gordon, which are the most promising players out of the whole team. But it doesn't look great at the minute, but I don't think it's relegation worthy at the minute. 13th, I've gone for Brighton.
13th I've gone for Wolves.
That's not too far off actually. Brighton, Graham Potter, a very highly rated manager. I actually last season I thought Brighton weren't the best team in the world until I saw the likes of Leandro Trossard get a lot of goals for them. You know, Danny Welbeck clutched up at times, so did Neil Maupay. Have a very, very solid team. They listen to the manager. It's a well-oiled machine, as the old term is. So for me, Brighton will be that mid-table team, hopefully to go deeper in the cup, I guess.
Yeah, I think with Brighton, I feel like a lot of people are going to use the point of losing Cucurella and Basuma, but with Brighton, when they lose players, they always seem to have other players that can cover for them. They're too versatile to be near relegation, and Graham Potter is actually he plays expansive football, and he also likes to just play his way. He doesn't play to anyone else's way. He doesn't adjust for anyone. And I feel like they're going to make smart signings. They've always made smart signings. They lost their head of recruitment to Newcastle, but they've still got scouts there that can dig out players like hidden gems, and they always sign great youngsters from other clubs. But my thing is that I feel like with Brighton, they have more potential than people think, and that's why I haven't said them yet. I've said Wolves.
Yeah,
And
Wolves.
and the reason why I say Wolves haven't bought anyone apart from Nathan Collins from Burnley.
Correct.
And from what I know of anyway, Ruben Neves is still there. I don't know how. Someone needs to pick up this guy.
Yeah, I think Ruben Neves, who knows, does anyone in the top 6 want him? Would he go into anybody's teams? There's an argument for some of them, yes. Whether he would be the first man there in the first team, I think a lot of the top 6 midfields have decent enough midfields to the point where you would say, yeah, I don't think we need him as of right now. Maybe for the squad depth, yes, but is he going to want that? I don't know. Especially with the World Cup going on at the minute. I don't see anybody from abroad just getting him before the end of the transfer window. Who knows? But yeah, I think. Well, I mean, I didn't put Wolves that much higher. I put them 12th for. I mean, similar reason. Bruno Lage did okay with them last season. Jimenez massive outs for the start of the season at least.
Yeah, yeah.
So they've lost a lot of that. Huang's good. He had a good breakout season last season. Will he do the same this season? I'm not so sure. You know, Neto's looking good so far. They've got Traore back. Morgan Gibbs-White, who I rated a lot in the Championship.
Great player, yeah. He's meant to be going to Everton.
Yes, he was. I think they bid 25 million for him, but
Yeah.
I rated him in the Championship. So I don't think Bruno Lage will do as well. They didn't score enough goals for me last season, and I think with losing Jimenez, I think that will massively affect them going to the seasons. But I think Wolves fans will be okay with, I'd say, another top 10 finish and a good cup run, I think.
The thing is, they're very grateful, but I feel like Wolves fans actually probably deserve a bit more. Yeah. And the reason why I say that is because over the years they backed their managers, and for some reason this year, Bruno Lage did so well with barely any backing, I'd say. And now you need to back him again for the second season. He hasn't signed anyone. And I feel like he can improve a lot of players. He doesn't want to play this 3 at the back. He wants to go 4, but with the players he has, he's going to have to just go to his normal formation. They've got a lot of great players. For me, Traore, he's so frustrating. Like, he could go past anyone.
But he doesn't have the end product.
He'll sky it over the bar. Someone gets hit in the crowd with the ball every time he shoots. And, like, literally, they lost another guy called Chiquinho, who at the back of the last season was really good.
Yeah.
But they've lost him and he's out for a long time.
Yeah.
He got injured in a friendly with Newcastle. But, yeah, with Wolves, you predicted them 12th. I predicted Aston Villa 12th. And
wow, interesting.
And I know it's the controversial one, and this is one I was speaking of when we were speaking off camera about. There's a few that I predicted that are controversial, and Aston Villa are the new Everton. And the reason why I say that is not the Everton of now, of the Everton of David Moyes, Roberto Martinez, Ronald Koeman, where they were always pushing for the other guys. But the problem is that people look at what they spent instead of, alright, let me sit back and look at the manager and the players they have for a second. Are the players going to gel? This is Steven Gerrard's first full season. Are you going to get Aston Villa into European places on your first full season? And with the formation he plays, he likes to play a diamond formation. Off the ball, it is terrible. Because then the strikers don't know what to do. Yeah. And then when they have the diamond formation, they can just like, okay, we're just going to go down the wings and cross it in. They have a lot of good players. They lost that Carney at Chukwuemeka
for Chelsea, which is a massive loss.
Yeah, he wanted to go. It was at the end of his contract, but he's not going to get into the Chelsea team.
Not as right now, no.
They've got a lot of good players. They've got Coutinho, Jacob Ramsey. I love. He's for me. I was going to do players to watch for all these teams, but Jacob Ramsey, I was a player to watch for this season in general.
I would say yes.
If the awards weren't so biased, he'd be young player. I think he'll be young player of the year this season. And the way he plays is great. They took the captain's armband of Tyrone Mings and given it to John McGinn, and Emi Martinez is the vice captain. So Tyrone Mings is nowhere near the armband right now. So surely Steven Gerrard has seen the light and know that Tyrone Mings is not that good.
Yeah.
Because he's just left-footed. That's why he gets called up to the England squad. Let's be honest.
I mean, Mings wasn't. I mean, there's an argument to say that the England squad is.
It's trash.
Southgate doesn't make the best decisions, but I think Mings, I don't think, was one of the best choices that Southgate made. But I don't think, does he deserve to get an England spot at this point or at the World Cup? I mean, I think there'll be questions asked if he is.
The thing is, Southgate loves it. I think he'll be called up for the squad. But when you have Tomori and Mark Gurhey and John Stones will get in. Harry Maguire's gonna get
him
he's
regardless.
Gonna go. Yeah, because he's played in tournaments, so I can't really argue with Harry Maguire necessarily. But Tyrone Mings, I don't see it. I don't see it. Esri Concert's right there.
Esri Concert
right next to him.
Esri Concert would go in over him for me.
Yeah. Who did you predict? Are we on 11th now?
Yeah, we are on 11th. Yeah.
Yeah. 11th.
So
Who did you predict?
you talked about controversial. I've gone Newcastle.
Oh wow, 11th.
Yeah.
Fair.
A lot of people have said this will be Newcastle's big season where they push top 10, maybe even Europe. I'm not as convinced yet. We know that Maddison, they've bid twice for Maddison, that's been currently rejected.
Yeah.
They've made a couple of decent signings, Sven Botman from Lille, who they wanted from January. But I'm looking at their squad now. I don't see it being that much better. I mean, Pope obviously from Burnley. Would you say that would be much better than Depravka? I'd argue maybe not. I don't know what Newcastle fans will have to say on that. But yeah, obviously they've still got the likes of St. Maximan, Almiron. They've got Callum Wilson if he can stay fit up front. But they haven't made enough improvements in the transfer window to suggest that they could break into the top 10. So yeah, Eddie Howe's a good manager. I really like him, but I don't think the team right now is ready for that top 10 push. They need more to convince me, and they haven't convinced me enough to this point anyway.
I feel like Eddie Howe's already come out and said he probably won't get his all of his attacking targets this season. Definitely not before his first game against Forest. But my thing with Eddie Howe, when you saw the transition from Steve Bruce to Eddie Howe, they were the same players, apart from a few signings, yeah. But with those same players, likes of Joe Willock, John Joe Shelby, people like I'd say them two especially, but I'd say Maximan. I feel like he gets the best out of the players he has. He's already worked with the likes of Ryan Fraser, Matt Ritchie and Callum Wilson at Bournemouth. And with Chris Wood, I don't think Chris Wood's a good signing. I think it was literally just to get them off Burnley at the time. Yeah,
Chris Wood hasn't done it in I think one penalty scored last season, which is not enough for me. I think Callum Wilson obviously is definitely the first choice there. They tried to get another striker, which I believe went to PSG. I can't remember who it was.
Yeah, Ekatiko.
Yeah, they were going for him for so long.
Yeah.
But I think Newcastle fans would be expecting more. I don't know if how patient they're willing to be.
I feel like
up to this point. But you know, with the backing that they've got, I think they've got enough time.
I feel like they're willing to be patient because they had to put on Mike Ashley for so long. I feel like because they know how much money they have. They know one day we're going to get there. Because Man City had to take time with it. When they were in that situation, they had to buy Roque Santa Cruz and these lot. Yeah. So Newcastle fans won't be expecting much, but I predicted him in the top 10, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
11th, I've got Crystal Palace, and I really, really, really rate what Vieira's doing. I feel like he's done an amazing job so far, and people will be like, but the league position is similar to Roy Hodgson, but he's playing better football, and when you play more open football, it's easier to concede goals, and he's even managed to keep the defence really tight. He's believed in young players. He's got Elise, Eze, that recent guy from Derby, he's really good, that I don't know how to pronounce his name, that Ebelewe, something like that. But he's called, I'm going to call him Malcolm, that's his first name.
Yeah.
He's really good as well. And the problem is, I don't know why he keeps players like Jordan Ayew and these lot, but
he gets the best out of them.
Yeah,
so it works.
He's probably out of the recent former players that have become managers. I feel like he's the best one that I've seen so far in the Premier League. Because I can't think, I don't want to think about out of the Premier League right now because I might be forgetting someone. But I think Vieira's the best one purely because if you install a style of play on your first season and you get backed and you've done a great job already, their thing now is, how can I fill the void when Elise's injured? How can I fill the void because Conor Gallagher's not here? They signed Decore, he's highly rated.
Very highly rated.
And I feel like Mateta is probably their most improved player because when under the first few months when he was there, he wasn't that good. But it was like the second half of the season, he was really good. And Edouard and Benteke, one of them needs to bang this season to help Crystal Palace because Zaha, again, he does it every season. He's actually very consistent, and he may not have got his big move, but he's proved so much that he can do it in the Premier League week in, week out for Crystal Palace.
Very much so, which is why I predicted them 10th. I think, I agree with you. Patrick Vieira's done a very good job. I've been impressed with the youngsters, particularly Anderson Gahey, how much he's improved that defence, which I think has raised them from where were they, like 14th, 15th to say pushing for top 10. You know, I think they will have a decent cup run. I think what did they get to? I think they got to quarters or round of 16 for the FA Cup last year.
Semi-finals.
Semi-finals, sorry.
Yeah, they faced Chelsea.
Yeah, they faced Chelsea. Unfortunately, lost to them.
Yeah.
So I think Palace fans can be very excited going into next season. So yeah, I think Palace 10th for me.
Yeah, for me as well. Like as we were just talking about, like getting the best out of your players. A guy who no one's ever going to talk about this guy, but a guy who's been at Palace for so long is Joel Ward.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say the guy Joel Ward, people are going to be like, why are you saying Joel Ward? But Joel Ward has actually played such a big part in that team. He's so like he's always doing a job for Vieira, and he's actually more key than people think. But they're going to have to upgrade eventually.
Yeah.
But Joel Ward will play a big part in Palace, like trying to like go up the table a bit. And I feel like their player to watch will obviously be Michael Elise, because of just how good he is. Like my favourite player from their squad is Eze though. Like I feel like Eze's gonna have to have a big season now that Conor Gallagher's gone. He's gonna play in that midfield more.
Yeah.
They've also lost Cheku Kouyaté on a free allegedly because I don't know if he's had a new contract yet.
Yeah.
But there's a bit of controversy with is he gonna sign a new contract? Is he gonna stay? I have no idea what he's gonna say. But he had a good season. He had a good season last year. But yeah, Vieira. I wouldn't be surprised if Palace finished top 10 because I swapped like the 10th and 9th and the 11th quite a lot.
Yeah. Do you want to go with 9th?
Yeah, 9th. It's unfortunate for them because they might finish lower. Leicester City.
I will agree with you on that as well. Leicester City. Brendan Rodgers. A lot of people were. I think a few Leicester fans were disappointed last season. I think a lot of them were expecting to maybe win the. The Conference League?
Oh, sorry. The Conference League, yeah.
Yeah, I think Leicester fans may have expected maybe a trophy in that department, and I think people were disappointed with the season that they had. And with a lot of rumours that with Maddison, Tielemans potentially leaving for Wesley Fofana, if they lose all three, that's a massive loss. With no Europe this season, I would have put Leicester a bit higher, but based on the fact that they haven't made any signings, and also based on the fact that they could potentially lose a few as well, I think Leicester, I'd put them a little bit higher, but for me, not good enough from Leicester at the minute. But again, like we said at the start of the video, we're recording this before the transfer window ends.
Yeah.
Leicester can make Leicester the type of team to make transfers very, very late, and they could potentially become a good team again. But they do have a good squad, so I've put them top 10 for that reason. Otherwise, I would have put them a little bit lower. They
had another team like Everton. They have to sell to buy. And I didn't know this until a few fans were talking about it. I'm surprised. My thing is that they've got rich owners. They want to back him, but I think because of financial fair play, they probably can't. But my thing is with Leicester, if you can't sack Brendan Rodgers if you're not going to back him because it's not his fault, and they've got good players still. They've got Ndidi that might stay. No club is interested in him.
No,
Harvey Barnes is amazing. I don't know how clubs aren't going in for him. The guy is so underrated. He will be their key player this season because of the other players that might go. You can't go into another season with Vestergaard, Soyuncu and Amati at centre back, and because Johnny Evans gets injured all the time, and then the other three I just mentioned were very frustrating last season. They every time they would Seattle win, they bring on Vestergaard, and other teams will just batter them
left, right, and centre.
And they're terrible from set pieces. They need to improve on set pieces.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing that they lost out on last season. I think also, obviously, the big news: Kasper Schmeichel leaving.
Oh yeah, that's
Nice,
so big,
Which, who knows? That may be a massive loss. Some people may say that he kept them in the game. Sometimes I don't know how Leicester fans feel about Schmeichel leaving the club. They've got, I think, Danny Ward now in goal.
Yeah,
so he'll have a big role to play next season unless they go out and get another goalkeeper. Like I said earlier, unlucky to miss out on Bird Leno. I think maybe that was the plan.
They might go for Dubravka.
They could go for Dubravka if they want. I don't know who Leicester fans, who do you want as your next goalkeeper? Do you want Joe Ward, or would you like them to go out into the market and get someone else? But for me, I think Leicester have lost. I think they'll be more scared of who they could lose, but if they manage to keep a few, then they'll get top 10 comfortably.
It was so disappointing because they started in the Europa League, then came third in their group, went to the Conference League, and Jose Mourinho beat them. And the thing is that they shouldn't be going out third, but in the Europa League. But they had like Napoli in their group and stuff like that. But they still should have finished second in that group. They should have gone further. And for me, I don't know. They're in a difficult situation where do they keep their best players, or do they see out their contracts, or do they cash in? And my thing is, when you have to sell to buy, it's probably the worst position you could be in. You have to buy smart. You have to buy cheap, hidden gems, and they're in a difficult position. But we're on 8th now, isn't it?
Yes, we are. We're at 8.
So I predicted Newcastle there.
Yeah, which is fair enough. I've gone Aston Villa. I think, like I said earlier, Wait Watkins, likes of Ings, Coutinho. You know, when Gerrard came in, there was a lot of questions going around saying whether he could do the job, and obviously people were saying, oh, it's a stepping stone up to when he eventually gets the Liverpool job. I think Aston Villa finished, 14th last season, which I think Villa will be very, very disappointed at. They made some smart signings. They've lost a few. They've made a few good defensive reinforcements, which I think will be enough to push them up the league. So I think out of all the teams this season, I think Villa will be the surprise of the season, who may just miss out on Europe, but I think will be very, very close.
They needed another striker, and the reason why I say that is because not only is Danny Ings injured all the time, but I don't rate Ollie Watkins to that level where he can get into like the England squad.
I would say he would. I think he did enough for me last season. I think, how many goals did he get last season? I can't remember. Maybe just about the 10 mark, 10 goals plus.
Yeah, that's good. That is good, but
can he do it consistently?
Like, my thing is as well, if for example World Cup starts soon, he's not getting in over Kane or Abraham.
That is very true. Yeah.
And I don't think you need to take 3 strikers because you've got some of the wingers can play striker.
Yeah, true. But
and my thing is, they've signed a good midfielder in Boubacar Kamara. He's highly rated. I've watched him a couple of times. Not enough to fully judge him, but a couple of times. Diego Carlos is a nice name. I don't know how good he will become for them. I didn't get to watch him when West Ham faced Sevilla because he was injured at the time. But for example, if he gets injured, it's back to Mings and Konsa. If it's Diego Carlos and Konsa, it's probably an upgrade. But now they've got covering left back. They've got Callum Chambers covering right back. I still think they needed a bit more, if I'm completely honest. But listen, Villa might surprise me, but I predicted them 12 just because I feel like they're a bit overrated. And the Gerrard, we haven't seen enough. And I think he looks like a good manager because he got Rangers to win the league. I know it's quite an easy league, but they didn't win it for a long time, and they got him to win the league unbeaten as well. And he actually does play good football with Aston Villa, but I feel like there's still another transition into maybe going into another era of I'm going to compete for European place and try and challenge the top 6. I don't feel like this is the season. Maybe in the future if Gerrard is good enough.
Yes, I agree.
7th, who did you put?
I put your team, West Ham.
I put West Ham as well.
Yeah, West Ham, another season where they'll be looking for a trophy and just outside the top 6, maybe breaking into the top 6. Opinions on Scamacca, first of all, what do you have to say? You know what
it is? When I saw we were interested in Scamacca and Brozier, I wanted Brozier, and the reason why is because Premier League. If you're in the Premier League, you don't really need to adjust already. But with Scamacca, like literally nearly every other fan base is like, oh, I'm gutted my team didn't go for him. So I'm like, I've only watched him once, and it was against England when Italy faced England, and there wasn't really much to say because he didn't really do much. But that match was a bit of a nothing match. My thing with Scamacca is I don't go in on on signings on the first season. I will let Scamacca grow. I will let all of our signings grow. And from what I've seen right now, we're looking to get Onana from Lille.
Yeah, I've heard that agreed. The fee's been agreed already, so
yeah,
maybe that's happening on the way.
Personal terms are far away apparently. Listen, I wouldn't be surprised if we finish lower because of the teams we have to look behind us, and like teams like I feel like Brighton, Palace, and Newcastle especially. They're teams to watch out for. I'm not scared of Villa because Villa haven't finished top half. They have finished top half like once in like since they've cut for a long in the past like maybe 10 years. But I could be wrong. And also Villa don't really get the better of us. But with Newcastle, they always get the better of us. Brighton always get the better of us, and Vieira has done a great job at Palace. I also think though, with teams in transition in the top 6, if we could maybe get the signings we need, I wouldn't be surprised if we finish in the top 6. But I'll be more confident if we got someone like a Kostic, and because there's someone from like Frankfurt because he's really good. But I believe in as much as I don't think these players have done enough in pre-season. Yeah, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen good enough. I haven't seen players be good enough in our pre-season. People would say to me, "It's only pre-season."
Yeah.
But with me, as much as I think we could drop off, we're probably the best of the rest.
I would say you are the best of the rest. I would say you guys look in the best shape out of everybody outside the top 6. But again, Europa League, depending on how far you go, may complicate that a little bit. But I think we'll do enough to stay best of the rest. Yeah,
just the last thing, because we reached the semi-finals of the Europa League, I'm expecting Conference League. We need to get to the final. We need to go for it, because the only other team that is like really, really good in there, Villarreal.
Yeah,
that's the only team to watch out for. We need a trophy, because we haven't won a trophy in 40 years. I've never seen a trophy at West Ham. I'm not saying sack boys. No. I would never ever say that.
I would say that now.
But please, just go for a trophy. Give me a cup run, please. But yeah, we'll move on, because this is where it gets complicated.
The top 6, which I will say as of recording literally an hour ago, I've now changed my prediction. Go on then.
You may not like this one.
It's Arsenal, isn't it?
I've gone with Arsenal.
Yeah, a lot of people have said Arsenal 6th. Listen, I'm glad being underdogs. We were that last season. Look what happened. We ended up 5th, but it's fine. I've got Manchester United.
That's fair. That's fair enough.
Yeah, I'll go for Arsenal first, and I'll go on to United.
All right. This is probably where it becomes more of a debate, because I'm going to talk from an outside looking in. Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
When you guys, I'm going to go back. Like when you guys had Wenger, for example, yeah, the aim was at least finish in the top 4, if not, and the older fans were expecting, if you need to go because you're not giving us a title charge. Emery came in. It didn't work out, he's gone on to do other great things. It probably just wasn't for the Premier League, if I'm completely honest. He just wasn't suited to the Premier League. But with Arteta, I'm one of the few people that doesn't see the hype, and the reason why I'm saying that, you guys finished 8th twice in a row.
Yeah.
And last season, no European football. First of all, Arsenal should never have a season where they play once a week, and Arsenal should never have a guy whose first job is Arsenal, because you need to earn your respect.
Which I understand. I mean, I'll talk more when we get to my prediction of Arsenal, but yeah, carry on.
Just this is what I want to say. You guys have made 2 signings that I think you can really say, okay, I'm really proud of that. But I don't know who Matt Turner is. We don't know whether Fabio Vieira will be good enough for the Premier League.
Both squad players, I would admit, but yeah.
Yeah. You guys, I know you guys are looking for another midfielder, but you guys have so many midfielders that are there, they're just not good enough.
Yeah, well, obviously Lucas Moura leaving this season. Mains and Lars may be leaving. You could say that, it isn't good enough. We do need to strengthen, but we'll see. Arsenal
fans should never be happy with 5th as well, because you guys were always in the top 4 or challenging for a title or nearly there. And you guys shouldn't even been nearly there. You guys should have been challenging for the title then. I mean, and you're never going to do that with Arteta. And I'm sorry, but you guys keep spending money with Arteta. And if he doesn't make top 4 this season with Gabriel Jesus up front, who in my opinion, signing of the season so far, Gabriel Jesus probably the signing of the season. It's not Arteta Paul. It's the guys he used to work with. Like if you guys get someone major from a different club, I don't know who, but I'm just saying, for example, if you guys got someone major from a different club that suited your system, that wanted to play Europa League football, that is Arteta Paul. But Arteta hasn't they have gone for Arteta because they used to work for him. They haven't gone for Arteta because, oh my god, he's done so well, and if he has never been in a situation where he's handled 2 competitions well. You guys are in the Europa League. Thursday, Sunday football will kill you, in my opinion.
Okay, I'll debate that when we get to the Arsenal prediction.
But Man United, sorry, but I just have a very strong opinion because Arsenal fans are very, very vocal in my face.
Yeah, I will listen. I can understand that. I mean, I'm different. You guys will probably see it, but I'm different to many Arsenal fans. But we'll get onto that when I talk about Arsenal. But Manchester United 6th. Originally they were 5th on my predictions. At one point they were 4th, but not impressed me. And Erik ten Hag is a new era at Manchester United. Now, we don't know how it's going to go, and there's many questions about Manchester United, whether Ronaldo will stay there, is De Jong coming to the... Is De Jong going there? Is Anthony going there? Lisandro Martinez, one of the signings I've just heard today, Telles is gone to Sevilla on season-long loan. So for me, I think United, this will be a building season. I think they'll be expecting a trophy. You know, not won a. Obviously, it's more bad that they haven't won the Premier League since Alex Ferguson left, but they've obviously won plenty of European trophies to compensate for that. But they've not been. I think United fans have been very, very upset over the last 2 years, and rightly so. You know, they will say as well that the transfer business so far has not been good enough. You know, yes, you've got Martial there. If Ronaldo's going to leave, you should have probably compensated for that by now. You got Eriksen. Did you need Eriksen when you already had Donny van de Beek? I mean, unless you were thinking to maybe move Fred and McTominay out, then yeah. But, you know, is Eriksen similar to Donny van de Beek? Well, we don't know. Yeah, I know you want to...
You know what? I do agree with a lot of things you said, but with the Eriksen thing, he brings something very different. Because Donny van de Beek mainly relies on late runs into the box. Eriksen is a huge, and I mean huge, upgrade on Bruno Fernandes. And the reason why I say that is because every time I see Bruno Fernandes get the ball, ping it any way he likes. Ten Hag does not want that. He wants you to keep the ball, short passing, build up play, and all that stuff. And for me, I'm just as passionate about the whole thing I said about Arsenal. I would say the same for Man United. Since Alex Ferguson left, they got David Moyes. They didn't really give him a chance, but he was never going to give them a title charge.
I mean, the managers that they've had, him, Eriksen,
Van
Gaal, Jose Mourinho, Oli, it's all gone kind of pear-shaped.
Yeah.
And I also think, you know, United need to have the attitude that, okay, I'm not saying that United fans don't have the attitude, but they should be like, okay, yes, it's a building season, but, you know, I think they'll be more focused on the owners. I've heard a lot of United fans saying that if they don't get the players that they expect in the transfer window, it's not going to look good on the owners. Not that the owners, in my opinion, don't exactly mind, because it's like, as long as Ronaldo stays, they're getting more money, so I guess it works.
The thing is with Man United as well, so even with after David Moyes, they got Luke Van Gaal, and I don't know, that had just been all pear-shaped. It was just a bit too toxic, and then the Mourinho thing could have worked, but him and Pogba clashed too many times for that to even survive. And maybe Mourinho was kind of falling off a cliff a bit, if I'm completely honest. Like, ever since that last season he had at Chelsea, it hasn't been great for him, if I'm honest. And then, after that, they got one of the worst managers I've ever seen in the Premier League.
Which is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I mean, you kept him after losing 4-2 to Watford and 5-0 to Liverpool, which... Yeah.
Like, you should have just... He was a great caretaker, and that is not always means you should hire him as a full-time manager, because when they got him as a caretaker manager, they were like, we're going to run, apart from the Everton 4-0, they actually were okay. And when you hire... They hired him for just the purpose of, he's a former player. The fans love him. He scored a Champions League goal 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, please... Just listen with Ten Hag. He's probably the only manager left that can try. You need to be closing the gap on your rivals.
They need to massively, and I don't see that happening. I do see Ronaldo leaving before the end of the transfer window. I said last season, the way you beat Man United is if you dominate the midfield, you'll win the game.
Yeah.
If their defence is shaky, you'll win the game. I still don't see... I see an elevation in terms of another level from the team, and Erik ten Hag will get the best out of those players. Will it be enough to challenge the top 5 ahead? I'm not so sure. And I think they've lost a bit of squad depth, especially in the front line. And I don't think they'll have enough time to replace that, because they're focusing, for me, in the wrong positions. I mean, central midfield, you're going to get De Jong in when you've got, Fred, McTominay, who's not looking to move out. You've got Donny van de Beek and Eriksen there, who you've got there as well, so... Yes, you may argue, you could get, yes, I agree, more depth, but, you know, is he going to start, for one?
De Jong, yeah, he would.
De Jong over Eriksen.
No, not over Eriksen, but I'll be honest, because Eriksen, like, what he's been through recently, he won't start every game, and, like, Fernandes will probably start.
Fernandes is going to start. Yeah, I don't think he starts to start either.
But it'll be like in the midfielders behind him, they'll start either Van der Beek, Fred, and De Jong. And McTominay's not good enough. McTominay has never been good enough. He's probably I've always said this, worst player I've seen in the Prem, I've ever seen, because, and the reason why I say that is because he's not made, again, another guy who's not made it by anything else, but I'm an academy guy from Manchester. The guy is not good enough to play in the midfield for Manchester United. And I feel like they've done, the signings they've signed so far, I rate the players they've signed so far, but they need to do way more. Like, the attackers that Ten Hag would like, you need to fully back the guy. And I said this about Arsenal with the title charge, like, from years ago. Man United are the same. This would be a bedding-in season. I'm not expecting anything.
No.
But in a few seasons to come, you're not challenging for the title, and you haven't backed Ten Hag. Your club is a mess.
I mean, the club's a mess anyway. I think that Man United fans will agree with me on that. The club is a mess currently, but I think the least they expect is at least one of either top 4 are a trophy. So yeah, I've gone United 6th, but we'll move on to 5th place in the league.
Yeah, you put Arsenal. And I put Man United. We've already kind of discussed Man United quite a lot.
Yeah.
Before you guys Arsenal, the only reason why I put Man United over Arsenal is because Ten Hag has already dealt with the Europa League and League with Ajax before. Arteta has not done it well when he previously did it. He got to the semi-final and bottled it, if I'm completely honest. And I don't know what I don't actually know what your stance on Arsenal are right now.
I mean, I'll talk about it more when we get to Arsenal, which isn't yet. But
well, you predicted them 5th, so what did you think?
I'm predicting 5th, actually.
Oh, you didn't predict them 5th?
I've put Spurs 5th.
You put Spurs 5th?
I've put Spurs 5th. Now, I know this is going to be a bit of bias, because obviously I'm an Arsenal fan, but look, Spurs for me, you know, you're in the Champions League again, which is what you needed. Harry Kane staying there, which is what you needed, which wasn't looking like on the cards at the start of last season.
No, it wasn't.
I say in the transfer, there's been a lot of talk about how good our Tottenham transfer business is. Be like 1 or 2 points, but yeah, it'll be very, very close. But yeah, your 3rd place.
No, my 4th is.
Sorry, 4th place.
Yeah, I've got 4. I'm going to talk about 4th and 3rd. You've already talked about these teams. I agree with you on 4th, Chelsea. And the reason why I would say Chelsea, Sterling is not enough in attack. Pulisic hasn't done enough. Hudson-Odoi is still like you're. I don't know what happened with him with injuries. I feel like he needs a loan.
He didn't. He needed that a couple of years ago, but
Werner's awful. Mount is very overrated. I feel like you need to stop. A bit like Arsenal. Stop pinning all the things on Mason Mount, the guy from the academy. Help him with some experience. Sterling is not enough. You need someone creative. The midfield is unbalanced. Are you like every year I'm hearing Chelsea fans, we're going to get Declan Rice this year. You're not getting him. You haven't bidded for him.
Yeah, this doesn't turn out.
They're interested in De Jong now. They want De Jong.
Yeah, but they wanted De Jong. I mean, look, you've got Jorginho, you've got Kante, you've got Kovacic, you've got Gallagher, you've got. I mean, people will be mad, but they've got Ross Barkley still.
Yeah, he's awful.
They've got a lot of midfield options there, but I mean, is Kante past it? I don't know. Is Jorginho good enough? People would say, based on a couple of seasons ago, yes. Is Kovacic still a good replacement? Yes, but I think Gallagher gives a good freshness to them. Yeah. But like I said before, I think Chelsea, you know, their front line needs work. They didn't score enough goals last season, and that's why they didn't. That's why they didn't go. They weren't as far up as I think they would have thought. And I think their defence wasn't good enough either towards the end of the season. I mean, look at the amount of games that they gave goals away. Yeah,
I feel like that was because of. For example, I know Aspie's had a year extension, he's probably going to go anyway, but him, Christensen and Rudiger, all out of contract, their minds are somewhere else. And
Alonso as well, looks like he's going.
Oh yeah, but I don't think that's much of a loss, if I'm honest. I don't think Alonso has done enough.
He was starting there last season, which is why...
I think Cucurella, amazing signing. Like, the guy was debatably, outside of the top 2 teams, the best left-back of the season. Yeah. And... In my opinion with Chelsea, is that Kante and Jorginho are 1 year left, by the way, on their contracts. You guys need, like, you guys have a lot of midfielders, but you guys don't even trust any of these midfielders. You guys have Gilmour and Ampadu, who are youngsters, who can actually play in deep positions. You guys need a player who plays in deep positions. You're not going to get Declan Rice until next year, maybe. But with like their whole transfer window, if they get another centre back, and Cucurella and Carl Walker Peters, the defence is sorted, but your attack is still messy. I feel like your defence will be good enough to maintain you not conceding many goals, but you're not going to have a good enough attack to get third or challenge for again another team that should be challenging.
Team further top, yeah.
Yeah. Third, I put Tottenham, and the reason why people are going to be like, "Whoa, third Tottenham," but I hate Tottenham.
Yeah,
I cannot stand Tottenham.
Yeah, I can't hate. I can't. I hate them, but I have to appreciate the fact that they managed to do so well last season, even though they didn't win a trophy. But yeah.
The thing is with Tottenham, yeah, I don't think they'll win a trophy, and I can't laugh at a team winning trophies. But with Conte, Perisic is a great signing. Jed Spence again. Conte came out himself and said it was a club signing.
Which makes me think he won't start.
Yeah, they need to sell either one of Doherty and Emerson to actually include him in, because you've got 3 right wing backs now. Romero will probably be under the radar again. He'll probably go under the radar again. Ben Davies has done well. You guys need a proper backup with him, not Longley.
Which is why they got Longley. So their defence is what? Longley, Dyer, and Romero.
Yeah, but the thing is, I feel like if they got a proper left-sided centre-back, like an Ndiko, for example, he's from Frankfurt, he's really good. If they got him, I'd be like, okay, I might take you a bit more seriously. I say third because Conte wants to do everything now. Conte's a now guy. He's not a process guy. He's not a project guy. And it's not a thing. He'll be a 2-year thing. And he has to do it this season or next season, do something. He needs to win a trophy somehow.
Yeah, it needs to be this season, otherwise it's done.
I don't know whether you know, but Ashley Young once said to Expressions, actually, the YouTube Expressions, Conte's... With Conte's training, you can't do it all. Like, you saw the way they were training. You can't do that year on year.
Yeah, you can't.
You have to win now. Conte wants to win now. If you don't win now you're fucked. You're finished.
That's it.
But I reckon he'll get third, just because, like, the way they play, their counter-attack is unbelievable. When you have Son and Kane and Kulusevski on the counter-attack, there's not many teams that are going to stop that. Especially when teams want to play attacking and open as well.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm a man who hates Tottenham, but I'll look at this and think, like, for example, we talked a bit about Perisic earlier. Perisic is better than people think. He's worked with Conte already, actually. He can use both feet really well. He plays like a winger because he was a winger. But because he's a bit older, he plays wing back now. And he won't play like a fullback. When he goes forward, he'll play like there's another attacker there. He'll cut in on his right, he'll cut in on his left. He's dangerous. People shouldn't underestimate him just because he came from Serie A. Because he's experienced, he'll know what to do in the Premier League. And they won't get anywhere in the Champions League. Like, they won't get anywhere in, like, maybe they'll go on a little cup run in cup competitions, because Pochettino did that with them. But again, expectations for Tottenham should be it should be trophy, because they haven't won one for a long time.
Trophy and nothing else.
Yeah, it should be just get a trophy, because you guys haven't won a trophy in years as well, and that should be for every team that hasn't won a trophy in years, and you guys have got the facilities to do it. But anyway,
there's a lot of people that need trophies. Sorry, just to
it's fine.
To the top 2.
Yeah,
a lot of people need trophies this season.
Yeah.
Arsenal, Man United, Chelsea, and Tottenham. So all 4 of us need at least a trophy this season.
Yeah, especially for me, especially Man United and Tottenham, because their gap is longer.
Yeah.
Arsenal always seem to win FA Cups, and Chelsea always seem to win something. So I feel like, especially Arsenal, Tottenham, and Man United, they definitely need to win trophies. I feel like. Yeah, with the top 6 is very interesting this year, but
be very close, but who knows?
All right, I'm gonna ask it like this:
the champions.
Who have you got to win the league?
I have gone I'm gonna go against what most people have said. I've gone for Liverpool.
All right, I've got Man City, so this is gonna be a good debate.
Liverpool. Obviously, I watched the Community Shield last Saturday. I've seen what City have done. Obviously, they've got Haaland and stuff, and I've heard a lot of people say City are going to go on to dominate the league now.
Not yet.
City fans will argue the fact that they need the Champions League. It's been many years and nothing's happened, so it needs to happen this year. It's pretty much all or nothing now. So for me, Liverpool, I feel like have the better squad as of now. Again, that may change. Obviously, Man City have got the likes of Phillips in. They've got obviously they've got Haaland, Alvarez as well. I feel like they needed. Obviously, they could potentially lose Bernardo Silva. Who knows?
If they do, then they're not winning the league. Like, Bernardo Silva is one of the best in the league.
Yeah, Bernardo Silva is good at what he does. So I've put Liverpool ahead because I've looked at Carvalho. Obviously, they've got Nunes, who will build as the season goes on. did very well to keep Salah.
Yeah.
Lost Mane, unfortunately. I know Jota's injured for the start of the season, but he'll come in at some point. But I think the youngsters have done really well. They've replaced, they've got a backup right back, which is what they needed. And I think they've addressed the right areas. I think Jurgen Klopp knows that he's ready. I think they've looked a bit shaky in pre-season, but I think over the course of the season, Liverpool need the Premier League, Man City need the Champions League more. And I don't know if Man City will get the Champions League, but I fancy them to go for that, and they'll unfortunately miss out on the Premier League. That's the only reason why I put them both.
And they need the Champions League, but I think the reason why I think they'll win the league is because Man City are never ever ready at the start of the season,
No.
and I feel like that's what makes people write them off. But they seem to do it every year. My only concern is right wing. Morris gets injured. Well, you're going to pin your whole hopes on Cole Palmer? Is he going to perform like to that level every year?
I'd say Foden could play there as well.
Yeah,
obviously
maybe Alvarez.
Grealish, but
Maybe
yeah, Alvarez as well.
But my thing is, they will have to get used to obviously playing with a proper striker again. They've done it before with Aguero, but they will score lots of goals. They will create lots of chances. But they're interested in some Anderlecht left back. If Pepper proves whatever his scout says, they usually bang, and they give them like the first season to bed in, and then they'll be fine. Again, with people like Nunez and Haaland, I'm not gonna write them off first season.
No,
with Klopp and Pep, they'll bang in seasons to come. They're young strikers.
Yeah, I think everybody's expecting 15, 20 plus goals in a season.
Yeah.
I think
It
may not happen. So don't be surprised if it doesn't come in the first season. But they've looked good enough to show that they will get to those numbers.
Yeah. With Man City, I feel like they actually do business so well. People can say buy the league. Arsenal and Man United spend more.
Yeah, I think we have. Which is fair. 150.
Arsenal and Man United spend more, and I feel like even with like I don't do the net spend arguments because I think they're a load of rubbish. But City sell a lot of the youngsters that are not good enough for Man City but are good enough for other teams, and they get money, and then they can spend more. So they're not exactly spending over amount. People say they're going to buy the league and all this, but other teams spend. It's just the way that they do it. People don't like it.
Yeah, which is true. I do think they needed to replace Jesus and Zinchenko that left to convince me that they could be like, okay, we're back in this. And again, like I said before, and I've said many times on this video, we don't know what's going to happen between now and the end of the transfer window. But it doesn't look like City are going to do that many more signings.
Pep Guardiola came out in an interview, said, if we're not ready in the first few games, we'll go and do business. Because think about it, if they did late business, people are like, I'll come to Man City, it's calm. My thing is, they're going to replace Zinchenko eventually, and if not, they'll bring a youngster called Wilson S. Brand, who actually used to be... If you're wondering what happened with the clip cut off, it's just my camera ran out of battery in the end. I didn't realise how long me and my mate Jay were talking for, but it was a great conversation. To just finish it off, he predicted Liverpool to win the league. I predicted Man City. Hope you guys enjoyed this predictions video. Ended a bit abruptly, but overall, thought it was a great video. I really enjoyed that. So let me know your predictions in the comments below. And as I said, leave a like on the video, subscribe if you are new. The social medias are in the description. And yeah, I'll see you later.